Parents are being targeted in a new text message scam with unknown numbers impersonating children and asking for money. Authorities say the scammers are contacting parents claiming to be their children in an emergency. To discuss this, I'm joined by cybercrime expert from Edith Cowan University, Dr. Mohideen Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed, thank you so much for your time. How does this scam work?
Oh, thank you. This is basically taking advantage of the parents and their emotions. So the cyber criminals are sending these phrases just to spook the parents and saying, hey, I have gotten this new number, my phone has broken and I just need some money. So they just establish a credible story, and then the parents, the victims, they believe those stories and they act on those stories. This is how it basically works. So cyber criminals know the pressure points, and that's how they have put together this ingenious scheme to fool the elderly citizens and especially the parents around us.
Yeah, it's really interesting you call it those pressure points. That's critical for scammers, isn't it, to play on that emotional connection so that it makes people hand over money or details that they wouldn't necessarily otherwise.
Yes. This is absolutely right, because if my dad receives such a text message from an unknown number, obviously he's 70 plus and he would be willing to hand over the money because his son's life is at stake at some point. So that's why the cyber criminals target these elderly citizens and they try to fool them. And it will continue to keep going up unless we do something about it. It is absolutely important for us to raise the awareness standard. It might sound like a cliche, but we have to keep on doing this. We have to keep on promoting the cybersecurity awareness to every single areas of our internet ecosystem. So we tend to focus on the technology. We are enjoying the parts of technology, but we are not paying attention to the weaponization of this technology. So we also have to focus on that bit as well.
Yeah, so you were saying there that you think that even your dad, even though you're a cybersecurity expert, would fall for a scam like this.
Yes, so if the story is credible enough, obviously, if my dad cannot reach me in my regular phone number, obviously he will believe the cyber criminals that, and it may happen to anyone as well. So it is really important for anyone to have their online presence right. Otherwise, how the cyber criminals are going to know about ourselves, how they are targeting the victims. Obviously, they have conducted reconnaissance enough, they have gathered enough information about the victims, and they have come and put together a credible story, and that's how they are targeting the victims. And yes, it might happen to anyone unless we practice proper cybersecurity hygiene.
Yeah, so what should people do if they receive these messages? I'm guessing number one would be to contact your children to make sure that their number is still valid.
And number two is if anyone is suspicious about all this communication, it is important not to respond to these messages, because it is at that point when your emotion is boiling and you are worried and you are suspicious at the same time, it is better not to respond to these messages. Rather, try to contact the actual children, and if they are not being contactable, then try to leave them a message and obviously wait. Do not act as soon as possible. Try to wait and see what happens. And cyber criminals will try to fool the victims in multiple ways, and they will try to get the maximum out of the victims. So it's important to wait and see what happens. And if you don't hear back from your children or your loved ones, then try to look out other options. Try to contact the law enforcement agencies rather than responding to someone unknown in the online platforms.
How much have people lost on these hi mum scams?
It depends. Some of the incidents are not reported, but so far, according to the statistics, they have gotten away with more than millions of dollars. So it depends on how those are reported, and if some are not reported, it's still unknown. But I think it is coming to the news because people have reported, and a substantial amount of money is already lost. That's why we are talking about this. But regardless of all these monetary factors, we need to focus on the fact that as long as we are enjoying the benefits of all the social media and all these communication mechanisms, we should educate ourselves on how to become more emotionally intelligent. We can't really blame someone else because cybercrime is borderless. So we have to take responsibility for our own actions rather than complain about, oh, I have been fooled over the internet, I have been fooled via this scam or not.
Muhyiddin Ahmed, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.